You don't remember when it started. That's the unsettling part. There was no dramatic moment, no loud decision, no conscious choice. You just adjust. A little smile where there wasn't one. A softer voice. A stronger tone. A different laugh. You learn quickly. What makes people comfortable? What makes them stay? What makes them approve? And slowly, without noticing, you stopped reacting. You started performing. At first, it felt harmless. Everyone adapts. Everyone adjusts. You told yourself it was maturity, growth, emotional intelligence. But it wasn't growth. It was strategy. You became the calm one, the strong one, the funny one, the quiet one, the dependable one. Whatever the room required, you became it. And people liked you for it. That's what made it dangerous. Approval is addictive, especially when you've been starving. So you refined the mask, polished it, strengthened it. You studied reactions, micro expressions, tone shifts, silences. You became fluent in reading others, but illiterate in reading yourself. Here is the part no one talks about. When you wear a mask long enough, your face forgets its own shape. You don't notice it at first, but conversations start to feel scripted. Laughter feels timed. Emotions feel curated. You say what sounds right, not what feels true. And the worst part? It works. People trust you, admire you, lean on you. They think they know you, but they only know the performance. Somewhere along the way, you stopped asking, "What do I actually want?" Because that question is dangerous. It threatens the mask. It risks disapproval. And if approval builds your identity, who are you without it? The mask isn't evil. It was protection. At some point you needed it. Maybe you were too emotional, too sensitive, too loud, too quiet, too different. So you learned to adjust, and adjusting kept you safe. Safe from rejection, safe from conflict, safe from abandonment. But safety has a cost. The more perfect the mask becomes, the more exhausting life feels. You come home tired, without doing anything physical. Social interactions drain you. Small talk feels like labor. Smiling feels heavy, because you're not just present. You're managing, monitoring, modifying. And here is the quiet truth. You don't fear being disliked. You fear being seen without preparation. The real you is unpolished, unfiltered, uncertain. The mask is precise, controlled, strategic, predictable. So you keep wearing it, because it works. Until one day, it doesn't. Let's stop pretending this was accidental. You didn't grow into this version of yourself. You engineered it. Because at some point, being yourself costs you something. Attention, love, safety, belonging. You learn fast. When you were too loud, you were told to quiet down. When you were too emotional, you were called dramatic. When you were too confident, you were labeled arrogant. When you were too needy, you were ignored. So you adjust. Not once. Over and over again. Until the adjustment became identity. Here's the part you don't like admitting. You don't know who you are without other people reacting to you. Your personality is optimized for response. You scan rooms before speaking. You measure tone before expressing. You filter opinions before revealing. You don't express. You calculate. And you call it being socially aware. No. It's fear. You're not calm. You're controlled. You're not easygoing. You're conflict avoidant. You're not mysterious. You're guarded. You're not independent. You're emotionally self-isolating so no one can reject you first. The mask isn't kindness. It's defense. And here is the brutal truth. You'd rather be liked for something fake than risk being rejected for something real. Read that again. You trade authenticity for approval. Daily. You laugh at jokes that don't land. You agree with opinions you don't hold. You downplay your intelligence. You hide your ambition. You shrink your needs. All to maintain the image. And then you wonder why you feel empty. You built a version of yourself that survives rooms, but doesn't feel alive in them. You say, "This is just how I am." No. This is how you adapted. There's a difference. An adaptation, when overused, becomes self-erasure. The most dangerous part. You've convinced yourself this mask is maturity. You think you're evolved, emotionally intelligent, unbothered. But underneath the control is anxiety. Underneath the calm is hypervigilance. Underneath the charm is exhaustion. You are constantly performing, even when you're alone. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. When was the last time you said exactly what you felt, without editing it first? When was the last time you disappointed someone, and didn't immediately try to fix it? When was the last time you chose honesty over being liked? If you can't answer that, the mask isn't protection anymore. It's a prison. And here is what you want to admit. You don't just fear rejection. You fear irrelevance. If people don't need the version you provide, who are you? If you're not the strong one, the stable one, the funny one, what's left? Silence? Uncertainty? Need? That terrifies you. So you keep performing. But performance has a side effect. The more you refine the mask, the less intimacy you experience. Because no one can connect to what isn't real. They connect to the character. They admire the character. They depend on the character. But they don't see you. And deep down, you know that. You don't feel lonely because you're alone. You feel lonely because you're unseen. And you're unseen because you want to remove the mask. That's not tragic. That's chosen. You think the mask is a choice. It is not. It is conditioning. You were not born calculating your tone. You were not born rehearsing responses. You were not born scanning rooms for threat. That was learned. Somewhere along the line, your nervous system made a decision. It is safer to perform than to be. So it built armor. Not physical armor. Behavioral armor. You became agreeable, or intimidating, or funny, or hypercompetent, or emotionally unavailable. Not because that is who you are. Because it worked. Let us break this down. When you were judged, ignored, embarrassed, rejected, or punished, your brain logged it as danger. Not social discomfort. Danger. The amygdala does not care about nuance. It cares about survival. So it started pattern recognition. What version of me avoids pain? What tone gets approval? What personality gets accepted? And every time the mask reduced rejection, your brain rewarded it. dopamine, relief, safety. That is how the mask became identity. Now here is the part you do not like hearing. You do not wear the mask consciously anymore. It is automatic. You filter opinions before they reach your mouth. You soften truths before they leave your chest. You exaggerate strength when you feel small. You downplay needs so you are not too much. And when someone says, "Just be yourself," your body tightens because your nervous system hears. Expose yourself. Authenticity does not feel freeing to you. It feels unsafe. That is not weakness. That is wiring. Hypervigilance rewired you to scan micro-expressions. You track tone shifts. You anticipate rejection before it happens. You shapeshift preemptively. You call it emotional intelligence. Sometimes it is trauma adaptation. The mask is not fake. It is a survival strategy that overstayed its welcome. And here is the fracture point. The more you perform, the less you know who you are without performing. So when you are alone, there is a strange emptiness. Not silence. Absence. You built yourself around reactions. So without an audience, you drift. That is why dropping the mask feels like losing structure. Because it is. You are not afraid of being seen. You are afraid of not knowing who will exist if you stop performing. Sit with that. You cannot rip the mask off. If you try, you will panic. Because the mask is not just behavior. It is regulation. It is how your nervous system learned to feel safe. So dismantling it is not rebellion. It is retraining. Step 1 is uncomfortable. You have to notice it in real time. Not later. Not during reflection. During interaction. When you are about to say, "It's fine, but it is not fine." When you are about to laugh, but it is not funny. When you are about to agree, but you do not agree. That microsecond pause? That is where the mask lives. That is where you interrupt it. You do not swing to aggression. You do not overshare to prove authenticity. You start small. Instead of, "It's fine," you say, "It actually bothered me." Instead of automatic agreement, you say, "I see it differently." Your voice may shake. Good. That means it is real. Here is what will happen next. Your body will react. Heart rate up. Chest tight. Mind racing. It will feel like danger. It is not danger. It is unfamiliar exposure. Your nervous system does not know the difference yet. Stay. Do not retreat. Do not over-explain to regain approval. Let the discomfort burn without correcting yourself. This is how you rewire it. The mask survives on one thing: immediate relief. You remove that relief. You let the moment breathe. And your brain learns something new. I can be real and survive. That is the dismantling. You will also notice something else. Some people will be uncomfortable because they were benefiting from your performance. They like the agreeable version, the unbothered version, the endlessly accommodating version. When you stop providing it, the dynamic shifts. Let it. You are not responsible for maintaining a version of yourself that makes others comfortable at your expense. Now here is the deeper layer. You need to rediscover preference. Not performance. Preference. What do you actually enjoy? What do you dislike? What drains you? What excites you without validation attached? If you cannot answer immediately, that is not failure. That is evidence of how long you have outsourced your identity. Reclaiming it takes time. There will be backlash internally. A voice will say, "This is selfish. This is too much." They will leave. "You are overreacting." That voice is not wisdom. It is old conditioning protecting relevance. You think it. And you proceed anyway. Dismantling the mask is not becoming reckless. It is becoming congruent. There is a difference. Reckless authenticity seeks reaction. Congruent authenticity seeks alignment. You are not trying to shock people. You are trying to stop betraying yourself. And something subtle begins to happen. Conversations feel lighter. Not because they are easier. Because you are no longer carrying performance weight. You are present instead of calculating. Responsive instead of strategic. Human instead of curated. The most surprising part? Some connections deepen. Because people can finally see something unscripted. Something imperfect. Something real. And real is magnetic. The dismantling is slow. Layer by layer. Moment by moment. But one day you will notice. You spoke without rehearsal. You disagreed without guilt. You existed without scanning the room. And it did not collapse. That is the shift. When the mask starts dissolving, something unsettling happens. There is space. Not clarity. Space. And most people misinterpret that space as emptiness. It is not emptiness. It is unused identity. You have spent years reacting, adjusting, performing. Now there is no script, no role to step into. So the question becomes unavoidable. Who are you when no one is watching? At first, the answer is uncomfortable. You might feel quieter, less impressive, less polished. Good. Polish was performance. You are not trying to be impressive anymore. You are trying to be accurate. Here is what rebuilding actually looks like. You start choosing based on preference, not perception. You wear what you like, not what signals status. You speak when you want to, not when silence feels strategic. You rest without explaining why you are unavailable. You stop exaggerating strength to appear stable. You admit when you do not know. You admit when you care. You admit when you are hurt. That is identity forming. Not curated. Integrated. There will be moments of doubt. You will wonder if you were better before. More admired. More in control. That is nostalgia for predictability. The mask gave you control over reactions. The real you does not control outcomes. It controls alignment. That feels riskier. Because it is. But it is also honest. You will notice something else. Some people respond differently. Some lean in. Some pull away. That is not loss. That is filtration. When you stop performing, you stop attracting people who need performances. And you start attracting people who can handle reality. That shift is quiet but permanent. You also begin to experience something unfamiliar. Effortless moments. Laughter that is not timed. Silence that is not calculated. Conversation that does not require monitoring tone. That ease is not coincidence. It is congruence. Your nervous system is no longer juggling two versions of you. There is only one. The final fear was never rejection. It was exposure without approval. Now you realize something powerful. Approval is optional. Integrity is not. You can survive someone misunderstanding you. You can survive someone disliking you. What you could not survive long term was abandoning yourself repeatedly. That was the real damage. And here is the truth that seals it. You were never fake. You were adaptive. You were intelligent. You were strategic. You survived the environments that shaped you. The mask was not weakness. It was brilliance under pressure. But you do not live there anymore. You are allowed to evolve past survival mode. So who are you without it? You are unfinished. You are developing. You are discovering. You are not a fixed personality. You are a living system adjusting toward alignment instead of approval. That is stronger than any mask you ever built. The performance is over. Not because you failed at it. Because you outgrew it. And now when someone meets you, they are not meeting a strategy. They are meeting a person. Unfiltered. Unrehearsed. Unapologetically present. Growth feels strong in isolation. It feels stable when no one is challenging it. But growth is not proven in quiet rooms. It is proven in pressure. And pressure always returns. The test does not arrive dramatically. It rarely does. It shows up as something small. A familiar tone. A dismissive comment. A subtle expectation. You've changed. Not curious. Accusatory. There it is. The first crack in the room. Your body reacts instantly. Heart rate shifts. Shoulders tighten. Old wiring lights up. The mask reaches for you. Smooth this over. Make it comfortable. Do not disrupt the dynamic. Go back. You feel the pull. And it is strong. Because the old version of you knew exactly how to survive this moment. Smile. Downplay. Reassure. Shrink. Restore normal. Approval regained. Tension dissolved. Identity preserved. But not your real one. The performed one. This is the test. Not whether you can speak. Whether you can stay. Whether you can tolerate being misunderstood without scrambling to correct it. You've changed. Yes. You have. The room waits. The old script is ready. But you do not pick it up. Instead you say, I have. No apology. No explanation layered with self-defense. Just truth. And silence. Silence is uncomfortable when you stop performing. Because performance filled gaps. Now there is space. The other person may push. You used to be easier. You're different now. You're distant. Translation. You are not regulating my comfort the way you used to. That is not cruelty. That is adjustment shock. People get used to roles. When the role disappears, they feel instability. But their discomfort is not proof that you are wrong. It is proof that the system is recalibrating. Your chest tightens again. There is temptation. Explain more. Soften it. Offer reassurance. Return to the familiar version. You could fix this in seconds. You know exactly how. That is the hardest part. You are capable of reverting. You are skilled at it. But you do not. You stay measured. I am not distant. I am just more honest. Another pause. This one is heavier. Because now there is no mask buffering impact. Just you. Present. Unfiltered. Unmanaged. And here is the moment that defines everything. Nothing explodes. The world does not collapse. The relationship does not instantly disappear. Or maybe it shifts. Maybe it exposes incompatibility. Maybe it deepens. Either way, you survive it without abandoning yourself. That is new. Before, survival meant adaptation. Now, survival includes integrity. The test is not dramatic. It is subtle. It is in the moment you choose not to laugh at something that crosses a boundary. The moment you decline without over-explaining. The moment you admit you are hurt without disguising it as indifference. Each time, the mask weakens. Not because it was ripped off, because it is no longer necessary. And something unexpected happens. You feel steadier. Not louder. Not more dominant. Steadier. Because there is no split inside you anymore. No internal negotiation. No secret resentment building under compliance. Alignment replaces calculation. You realize something powerful. The mask protected you from rejection, but it also protected you from real connection. Now you are exposed, but you are also available, and availability requires courage. The test will not happen once. It will happen repeatedly. Different faces, different environments, same pressure. Each time you choose, perform, or remain. And each time you remain, the new identity strengthens. Not everyone will accept the version of you without the mask. Some will resist it. Some will question it. Some will try to negotiate with it. Because the old version of you was predictable, convenient, easy to navigate. You absorbed tension. You softened truth. You carried emotional weight quietly. That version required less from others. The new one does not. And eventually, the real test arrives. Not a comment. Not subtle pressure. A clear moment. A boundary crossed. A dismissal. A demand for the old you to return. Why are you making this a big deal? There it is. Minimization. The old script would have activated instantly. You would shrink. Reframe it as nothing. Tell yourself you are overreacting. Restore harmony. At your expense. But you do not. You feel the discomfort. You feel the fear. And you stay. I am not making it a big deal. It matters to me. No aggression. No performance. Just clarity. This is the line. The invisible line you used to move for everyone else. Now it stays where you put it. The reaction may not be pleasant. Disappointment. Frustration. Distance. Maybe even anger. That is where most people fold. Because rejection used to feel like danger. But something is different now. You are not rejecting them. You are refusing to reject yourself. That is not selfish. That is alignment. And here is the final truth. If someone only connects with you through your mask, they were never connected to you. They were connected to the version of you that managed their comfort. When the management stops, the illusion breaks. That is painful. But it is honest. Some people will adjust. They will meet you differently. Respect the boundary. Engage the real you. Those relationships strengthen. Others will drift. Not because you failed. Because the dynamic was built on performance. And performance cannot sustain authenticity. There is grief in this stage. Let it exist. You are not just losing people. You are losing identities. Roles. Versions of yourself that carried you for years. Honor them. They kept you safe when you needed safety. But you do not live there anymore. The mask is not burned. It is retired. You do not destroy it. You outgrow it. And the difference is important. Because you do not hate who you were. You understand why you became them. That compassion is what prevents you from building another mask in the future. Now, when someone says, "You've changed," you do not flinch. You do not defend. You do not explain excessively. You simply say, "I have." And there is no tension in your chest, no internal split, no silent self-betrayal, just steadiness. You are not louder. You are not harsher. You are not reckless. You are integrated. What you feel and what you express are no longer strangers. That is freedom. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind. The kind that lets you sit in a room without scanning it. The kind that lets you speak without rehearsing. The kind that lets you leave when something does not align. Without guilt. Without collapse. The performance is over. The role dissolved. The approval addiction weakened. And what remains is not emptiness. It is you. Unmanaged. Uncurated. Unmasked? This is where it ends. Not with applause. Not with validation. With alignment. And once you experience alignment, you will never willingly go back to performance. Because now you know the difference. And that knowledge cannot be undone.